My family always treated me horribly. Now I know why. I've always known I was different, but it wasn't until that one fateful month that I discovered the horrifying truth. My name is Kyle, and I'm a 16-year-old boy who had been subjected to a lifetime of torment by my family. I had two younger sisters, Kayla and Riley, and a little brother named Henry. My parents, Marta and Frank, were the ones who made my life a living hell. Growing up, my family's favoritism was blatant. My parents showered my siblings with love and care while treating me as if I were invisible. They'd openly insult me, never celebrated my birthday, and wouldn't even attend my soccer games. But it was the month they left me alone that would change everything. Without warning, my entire family left for a vacation, leaving me behind with nothing but a vague message saying they'd be gone for a month. They left no food, no money, just emptiness. It didn't take long for me to realize I couldn't survive a whole month without food. Desperation led me to my best friend Mark, whose dad owned a shop. Mark's dad offered me a part-time job and provided me with food and payment. I was grateful, but as the month passed, my resentment toward my family grew stronger. It was during this month that strange things began to happen. Every night I'd go to bed in my human form, but I'd wake up to chaos. My bed was a mess and parts of the house were destroyed. At first I thought someone was breaking in, but then one night I heard a growling sound that sent chills down my spine. I grabbed a baseball bat and explored the house, following the menacing growls that seemed as though they were coming from right next to me. My heart pounded as I entered the bathroom, and my scream caught in my throat when I saw the reflection in the mirror. I was a monster. The most horrifying creature I had ever seen stared back at me, its grotesque features twisted with malice. I couldn't believe it. Was this the reason my family had despised me all my life? Did they know about this monstrous secret within me? The nights that followed revealed the truth. I transformed into the abomination during the darkness, and by daybreak I would return to my human form. The curse was mine to bear, and it seemed that my family had kept it hidden from me, using it as a reason to isolate and torment me. As the month came to an end, I knew that my family would soon return home, but they had a shocking surprise awaiting them. The monster they had tried to bury and forget was no longer willing to hide in the shadows. It was time for them to face the truth and the horrors that awaited them in their own home. The night my family returned would be a night they would never forget, for they would finally come face to face with the horrifying secret they had tried to bury. The monster within me had awakened, and vengeance would be mine. As the day of my family's return approached, a strange mix of fear and anticipation consumed me. They had no idea what awaited them, and the very thought of their shock brought me a twisted sense of satisfaction. I had endured a lifetime of torment, and now it was my turn to confront them with the monstrous truth they had kept hidden. The night finally came when I heard their car pull into the driveway. The front door swung open and their voices echoed through the house. They were back, and I knew there was no turning back now. My monstrous transformation began shortly after nightfall, as it always did. I felt my body contort and twist, my skin stretching and morphing into that grotesque form I had come to know. The beast within me emerged, and I was no longer Kyle, the tormented teenager. I was a creature of darkness. With an eerie silence that masked my presence, I slithered through the darkened house, every step making my heart race with a sinister delight. The house seemed to respond to my malevolence, its shadows deeper and its creaks louder, as if nature itself was ready to bear witness to the reckoning. I lurked in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I could hear my family's voices as they moved about the house, blissfully unaware of the monster that awaited them. The anticipation was nearly unbearable. As they gathered in the living room, I could see their silhouettes through the slightly ajar door. My sisters, Kayla and Riley, sat on the couch, chattering excitedly about their trip. Henry, my little brother, played with a toy on the floor. My parents, Marta and Frank, seemed pleased with themselves, oblivious to the impending horror. The moment had arrived. I burst through the door with a guttural roar, my monstrous form illuminated by the pale moonlight. Their screams pierced the air, terror etched across their faces. My family, who had inflicted a lifetime of cruelty upon me, was now trapped in their own living nightmare. They huddled together, their faces a canvas of fear as I approached, my monstrous visage casting shadows that danced with menace. "Did you think you could leave me behind, starve me, and never face the consequences?" I hissed in a voice that was no longer human. "Did you think you could hide from the monster within your own family?" My words echoed through the room, and the truth was like a heavy fog enveloping them. My parents' faces contorted with guilt and realization. They knew they had pushed me to this point. Tears welled in my sister's eyes as they clung to each other, and Henry trembled in fear. My monstrous form loomed over them, a grotesque manifestation of their darkest secrets and cruelties. The night was filled with their pleas for forgiveness, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. I had endured enough pain, and now it was their turn to suffer. The tables had turned, and the monster they had created had become their greatest nightmare. As I reveled in the fear and desperation that consumed my family, I couldn't help but think that perhaps this was the justice I had longed for. The horror of their own creation had returned to haunt them, and there was no escaping the darkness they had brought into our home. The night would be long and filled with anguish, a night they would never forget. And as the sun rose on a new day, I would once again become Kyle, forever changed by the monstrous secret that had finally been revealed. In the dark hours of each night, I took twisted pleasure in tormenting my family. I had become a malevolent entity capable of causing them immense pain, only to miraculously heal them before the dawn. The cycle of agony and brief relief had become a macabre game, a testament to the dark power that now coursed through my veins. I made sure my family understood the rules. If they ever spoke of my monstrous alter ego or attempted to seek help from the police, I'd fulfill my most sinister threats. The world would never believe their tales of their son transforming into a nightmarish creature, and they would pay the ultimate price for revealing our dark secret. The torment I inflicted upon them was relentless. Every night I would find new ways to exploit their deepest fears and vulnerabilities. I wanted them to feel the same pain I had endured for years. The power that had cursed me had given me a newfound sense of control over my life, and I reveled in it. One night, driven by a dark curiosity, I confronted my parents for the truth. I demanded to know why they had always despised me. With fear in their eyes, they reluctantly began to unravel a horrifying tale from their past. They revealed that when they were younger, right before I was born, they had been part of a sinister cult. During my mother's pregnancy, the cult had conducted a ritual, infusing me with otherworldly, demon-like strength and powers. My birth had unleashed my newfound abilities, and my first transformation had occurred at the tender age of 2. They confessed that they had left the cult, realizing the darkness of their actions, but their hatred had already taken root. They had resented me ever since the first time they witnessed my monstrous form, unable to love the child who had become a living embodiment of their past mistakes. As the truth unfolded, I couldn't help but feel a surge of anger and resentment. If only they had chosen love over hatred, my life might have taken a different path. Instead, their past actions had cursed us all to this never-ending cycle of torment and fear. The knowledge of our shared history only deepened my resolve to continue the nightly horrors. My family was trapped in a nightmarish purgatory of their own making, their actions haunting them just as I had been haunted for years. The darkness that now surrounded us had become a curse that none of us could escape, a sinister reminder of the consequences of their past sins. In the years that followed my departure, my family descended into an abyss of broken spirits and sleepless nights. They were broken, their lives a never-ending cycle of torment and fear, but I had spared them from death. Instead, I chose a fate far worse, the haunting knowledge that I would return always when they least expected it. Before my departure, I delivered a chilling promise to my family, one that would leave them forever on edge. "Every few years, when you least expect it, I will be there," I had declared. "I will make sure you never sleep peacefully at night ever again." As I left my parents' house, I began to refine my abilities. I learned to control my transformations, shifting at will between my human and monstrous forms. The powers that had cursed me with a demon-like presence allowed me to delve into people's deepest fears and nightmares. I could manipulate their minds to reveal their most horrifying secrets and make them face their darkest terrors. I had once focused my torment primarily on those I considered deserving of my wrath, but over time I grew more comfortable inflicting my haunting presence on anyone. My power to terrorize was not limited by moral boundaries, and I reveled in the despair I caused. Years passed, and I kept the promise I had made to my family. Each of them had an encounter with my nightmarish form when they least expected it. My sister, Riley, saw me at her graduation, a sinister presence that only she could perceive. The terror I inspired was etched in her memory. At the supermarket, my parents had a chilling reunion with me, their eyes meeting mine in the darkest of corners. My other siblings spotted me at soccer matches, their fear palpable as they realized I had kept my word. Riley eventually got married, and I couldn't resist visiting her on her special day. I manipulated her thoughts, creating a mental breakdown before the reception. My control over my powers had grown, allowing me to manifest in a way that only she could see. Her descent into madness was a testament to my growing influence over their lives. My younger sister experienced my presence at the hospital when she gave birth. As I whispered dark promises into her ear, she shivered with dread, knowing that her family would be haunted and that I would ensure their nightmares persisted. My parents and younger brother, too, saw me during their moments of vulnerability, often when they least expected it. My promise remained unbroken, and my curse would persist until the day all of them passed away. I had embraced my role as the eternal tormentor, and I had become immortal, allowing me to haunt their generations one by one. They were destined to be haunted for all eternity, for my powers, like my hatred, showed no signs of waning.